Hey guys, back for some Thursday thoughts here. I saw a study about x-rays. So, personal point, I grew up in a family with a mother who was terrified of me ever getting an x-ray. So at every opportunity that somebody like a dentist or anyone said I needed an x-ray, she tried her best to talk them out of it. So I kind of grew up with a healthy fear of x-rays. And then lo and behold, I become a chiropractor, and it's good to get x-rays of folks if I'm gonna help people as best I can. So I always have had this low-grade guilt, but always felt the benefits outweighed the negatives as far as shooting x-rays of folks. And I think many of y'all who are patients have seen how that's helped me see changes and improvements in your spines and correction of subluxations. So, came across this study here called Radiophobia: 7 reasons why radiography used in the spine and posture rehabilitation should not be feared or avoided. This study has 114 references. I say that because it's so contrary to kind of our sense of x-rays and health. I just was impressed to see how many references are made, because there is sort of a grassroots, if you will, movement to kind of change the attitude about low-dose occasional x-rays. So here we go real quick. Radiophobia stems from decades of scientifically erroneous extrapolations from high-dose atomic bomb survivor data assumed to be linear down to a 0 exposure, the so-called linear no-threshold hypothesis model. Now, that's pretty extreme. They're extrapolating from atomic bombs. And that's what they use to predict cancer and radiation exposure. And they make the point no data has ever supported this LNT model for low-dose exposures, because of course they were talking atomic bomb, that's high dose. Cancer deaths estimated using that LNT model for low doses have to be speculative. That has to be extrapolated. Number 2, they just make reference to this strong push in the scientific community to get rid of that model. Number 3, the evidence-based contemporary model, for spinal rehabilitation does require x-rays. And so their point is the use of x-rays shouldn't be feared, shouldn't be avoided, and particularly if exposures have been lessened by using filters, which is very common. So they make their quote is saying all fears of radiation exposure from medical diagnostic imaging are based on complete fabrication of health risks based on an outdated linear model. And it's been taught for decades. So here's what I think is fascinating and was news to me, to be quite honest with you. Low-dose radiation actually activates our body's adaptive response mechanisms. This is called radiation hormesis. The body responds to stress, including radiation or exercise, by overcompensating for any damage caused to that exposure. So whatever stress that comes along, we talk about this all the time. There's good stress and bad stress. Low radiation doses stimulate health benefits, and high radiation doses are detrimental to health. An x-ray, like we take, includes only 1/1,000,000th the amount of cellular damage as compared to breathing air for a day, because air has oxidants and free radicals in it that our body has to fight and has to neutralize. X-ray radiation, like what we use, is below natural annual background radiation levels. And the risk to benefit ratio is always beneficial for routine x-rays, according to these authors, and it looks like it's making sense. So a couple other amazing quotes. Since all mammals possess adaptive response mechanisms to overcompensate for radiation exposures in levels given by routine radiography, and that these levels are not only within and below background radiation levels, but also lower than optimal hermetic health enhancing levels, thus radiation exposures to our patients only present a zero risk. The equivalent of a benefit to benefit ratio. All cancer estimates and dose minimizing campaigns, including the ALARA concept, are underpinned by that linear model, that LNT model, and are deceitful and fear-mongering. So let that be an encouragement to you. It is to me. It's fascinating, makes sense. Our bodies definitely are meant to take advantage of good stress and handle it well. So makes sense to me. Hopefully it's helpful to y'all. Have a good one.